This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, and starting at verse 3, and it reads, And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? Verse 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Mark 3 and 25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Verse 26, and if Satan rise up against Satan, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. I want to start off by giving all praise. I want to give all honor and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Chakadosh. I want to say double honors to the elders and to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. I want to say peace and salutations to the Akim, that's the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I want to say shalom to the Akim and the Aquat that they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sop, and I'm coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Pretty much this lesson is through the spirit inspired by a lesson that the beloved elder Apostle Tahar did. Now, I had a video on my phone. In my head, and so I'm forgetting certain topics I was gonna do and all that. You know what I mean? I've never did this many videos in one day. You know what I mean? Like, I've always tried to do at least one, but I've been in the spirit of being able to do 2 and 3 sometimes. So call Lawyer Mlayah Bashim Shot because I'm pushing the work. Um, Lord willingly, I'll be of that number of the hopeful elect. Now, like I say, I did the video and I posted it, and I went back to work, and I'm lightweight sneaking in the job, listening, to my earbuds, because they don't want you to wear them. And just so happened, I found out that the elder posted the video up right after me, showing you like that must be the spirit. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the spirit, call Lawyer Mlayah Bashim Shah, because the elder, like I said, went into pretty much the same topic. He said something that inspired, the video, because he was talking about how, Esau be pretty much training their children up to shoot, at the age of 5, they going deer hunting and all this different shit. And I had a video with a little girl that was looking like or appeared to be an Edomite, and she had two twin pistols in her hand, and she shooting both of them bitches. You know what I mean? So, showing you that this devil was given the power of the sword. You know what I mean? And they going to utilize that. And that's hence part of Jacob's trouble. So the elder did a video about it, and I was like, damn, that's a spirit. So I literally, it was like, I'm gonna land back off the elder and do another video about the militias, because, he said, can it be, pretty much he posed a question, could it be like civil war after, the elections? And, we so close to the times. I mean, think about it. Next week is the election. You know what I mean? Shit went by so quick. Time is really speeding, speeding. And, it's very well possible. I remember, you had militia in North Carolina recently, right after those whirlwinds or hurricanes destroyed the land out there. Pretty much they was making a statement they was going around FEMA hunting. Then you just had the elder made mention of militia in Virginia, and I know I got a video somewhere or an article I was gonna do a video on, but I never brought it out about it was a militia in Tennessee. So it inspired me to go get a list. I mean, or do an internet search, and it came up with a bunch of list of these different militias, and I basically found this video, which was on YouTube. So fair use, fair use. Pretty much this is not about to be used to make any profit off of, but pretty much to line up what's going on in the video with scriptures. Look at that. I just saw something about pandemic restart about to begin, a hidden killer. Okay, so It's a lot going on. Call Loyam La Yahweh Shot. Call Haloyim La Yahweh Hashem Shot. Call Haloyim La Yahweh Hashem Shot. Because, this pretty much, it might not be this year, but, we, those that's in this walk of ours, those that's preaching, and bringing out and proclaiming, the truth of the scriptures through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we have the spiritual eyesight. We see, these things can jump off any day now. It's all whenever the Lord chooses for it to take place. We don't know if it's going to be this year. We don't know if it's going to be next year, but we see these things are near. Scriptures tell you in the book of 1 Peter 4 and 7, the end of all things is at hand. And we see the end of all things. Once this man's system is down and over with, that's when, righteousness will fill the earth again, So, again, fair use, fair use. I just want to play the beginning of this.
I'm walking out the bank right now.
Raise your hand if you think that now, more than ever in your lifetime, America's on the brink of civil war. Who here believes that their rights are under attack? I'm Lori Siegel in rural Michigan, where one of the largest statewide militias is preparing.
And that was 4 years ago. So, like I said, and again, I didn't even see that video before. No, I don't watch 60 Minutes like that. But nonetheless, I didn't even know about that video. So, again, it really makes you, sit and be like, damn, you know what I mean? Like how quick and how like I said, this thing, the scriptures talk about in First Thessalonians, talking about like a thief in the night, pretty much sneaking up on you unawares. This calamity and this destruction can come out of nowhere. I mean, for those that actually have the eye salve and are keeping up and basically doing the will and the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we are understanding the trends and what's going on. So it shouldn't catch us off guard. It's for these these copper tops, these 2/3, and these heathen. But even Esau Edom, you see he up and aware of certain things. You got these Edomites that's literally, pretty much aware, of what's going on with the government. It's Jake that's in their folly. You know what I mean? For the most part. You got a little bit of everybody, if it's a folly, but nonetheless, I wanted to get this article. I mean, it's not even an article, it's just a list. I'm just gonna go over it real quick. It says list of militia organizations in the United States. And I forgot who brought that up, but they was talking about how pretty much, I know it was called Loyam La Yahweh Shem Shah. It was the elder Yashawamba, and he was going into how pretty much they changed the definition of certain things because it used to be not illegal to form a militia, but now they're trying to pretty much deem them illegal. Just like, how you had got like certain biker clubs, at one point in time it was okay to form those, because, legislation and whatnot, but now they're trying to deem certain things illegal because of their agenda. So, it's a national groups. You got all. You say the constitutional sheriffs, oath keepers, where you've heard those in the news. The Not Fucking Around Coalition. That's with Grandmaster Jay or whatever the hell his name is, that we thought or we pretty much believe was set up because that guy, if you do enough research, basically ran to be the president. I forgot what year. 3%ers. You got 5%ers. Now you got 3%ers. It says Proud Boys, which we've heard of. They pretty much was with and backing Trump. So, it makes you question now. And you know what I never thought about until this exact moment, called Loyam La Yahweh Shem Yahushua. When Trump was running for office, I was homeless, you know what I'm saying? And because Trump ran against Clinton, I was homeless. I'll never forget that. And pretty much he had hired, like militia, because he had militia, like they shut down the city to a degree. It's a bridge that pretty much separates our east from our west, of Cleveland. And they pretty much shut down the bridge and all that. and pretty much was like, if you had any warrants, if you was coming down in our downtown, they was running your name. I'll never forget that, because when they told me I had a warrant at the time, so I had to go through all these different things just to motherfucking, get downtown to go when the brothers was capping. You know what I mean? Well, I believe I was in the cap at that time, but nonetheless, so it's not surprising that you got all of these, like how the elder says, you're gonna have these good old boys that's pretty much gonna pitch a fit if Trump lose. And if they really want to create a state of civil war, they're gonna let her win. I mean, been following the brother Bukar Moff from Men of Valor, and he was going into how, they talking about how these ballot boxes are rigged. You got certain ballot boxes where you try to vote for Trump and it won't let you, to finally it automatically picks her. You know what I mean? So if they really want to set these people off, because again, you got to understand, I was watching this video with this Jake that wrote this book about the Rex 84, the King Alfred plan, and he was talking about pretty much they want us to fight back so they can pretty much call for emergency, and then it's just a lot going on, and it's all linking up to a degree. It's a Boogaloo movement. Boogaloo, I think it's the clown, like that clown shit, because that guy so they carrying guns. So I'm gonna have to read this too for real, because the guy from Donut Factory, I remember the elder shouting him out, so I went to look him up, and he'd be breaking down the symbolism, and he was saying like I think it's a boogaloo, yeah, because they pretty much like base it off of the what's that, ICP, Insane Clown Party, or Insane Clown Posse. American Patriot 3%. American Patriots 3%. That's the 3%ers are active as of 2024. Then it says local groups. So each of these cities, each of these states have a militia. They said North Carolina, Stokes County Militia. Who else did they name? Tennessee, East Tennessee Mountain Militia. Then they named Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio Valley, Minutemen Citizens Volunteer Militia. Now, I don't think that's every state, but that's a lot of motherfucking, So, when the scriptures talk about, pretty much, I'm going to get it. This is the book of, Isaiah chapter 19, and it reads, 19 and verse 2, and it reads, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And who is the modern day Egyptian? These so-called white people, who true nationality is the red Hebrew Edomite. That's who pretty much they're going to set against one another. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. Now, you got the city against city. I just showed you, you got pretty much militia in a lot of different states, and you don't even know if each city got one, So, but you got, the Egyptian or the so-called Edomite that's working for the government, and you got those that's going to be opposed to it, because you got to remember, these low-level Edomites feel that they're the beloved kingdom, that the elder Apostle Tahar, well, who just made mention of it? I believe it was Apostle Tahar. I've listened to a few different videos today. And, pretty much they were saying how they stole this land. You gotta remember, they stole this land. They gonna fight for no, it wasn't the elder Apostle Tahar. It was somebody else. I can't think of it right now, but I can't think of who exactly the individual I was listening to. Salakia, forgive me, but he was saying, pretty much they stole the land, and they're gonna try to. No, I know who it was. Salakia, call La Yahweh Shemiah Shah. Call Loyam La Yahweh Shemiah Shah. My memory really bad. My memory ain't, But it was the elder Mawatazak from Ancient of Days from L.A. He was going in about how they flagged this video, and pretty much he was like, he didn't even really say nothing. So it's like they really seem to flag our videos more than they flag other individuals, and I can agree with that. And he not just the truth videos, but you know what I mean, as far as like certain camps. So, you know, and that's what's going to bring your second Ezra's, you know, which ultimately all this is going to bring Jacob's trouble. You know what I mean? We in a form of Jacob's trouble right now, but it's not as bad as it's going to get. It's the book of Luke, chapter 12, starting at verse 49, and it reads, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So, you know, I am come. That's Yahweh Shai who's speaking. You know, it says, but I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? Should have read this in the blue letter. Matter of fact, I'm going to read it in the blue letter. It's the book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 49. And it reads, I have come to, I'm going to read it in the NLT, and it says, I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. It says, verse 50, I have a terrible baptism of suffering ahead of me, and I am under a heavy burden until it is accomplished. Verse 51, do you think I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I have come to divide people against each other. Verse 51, suppose ye that I have come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, you know, that'll actually break up a marriage or a relationship. You know, you got women that's just wholeheartedly, blindly following her, thinking she's somebody when she a fucking puppet. They both puppets. Still on certain shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to brag on it. I'm just, you know, like, I'm just being honest. You know, I know what's right for my spirit and what ain't. You know what I mean? I know what I can endure and what I can't. You know, I'm full. You know, I pray that I am of the hopeful elect, though. But ultimately, I just hope this place is just fucking destroyed. You know what I mean? I wholeheartedly mean that. I hate this place. I can't imagine my children growing up here. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, this place is just, you know. And like I said again, we seeing the scriptures actually speak. You know what I mean? Like, it's about, that's why they, you know, and then I supposed to watch it with the brothers, didn't get a chance to, because we all got busy ass lives, and especially the closer we get to the end, Satan throwing all kind of monkey riches and distraction. That's why you got keep your eye single towards this truth, because you know what I mean. It's easy to be, what's the word, pulled up out of it. So ultimately, all this is going to lead to pretty much, Jacob's trouble. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. I'm starting at verse 1, and it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So these are not our words, but these are the Lord's of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Which incredulity is the unbelief. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. All those that didn't believe shall, the Lord gonna kill their ass. I was just watching a video that the beloved elder Apostle Gabar did. He was going into pretty much the Illuminati, the Anthony J. Hilder videos, and the I can't think of his name, Robin Cook or Terry Cook, the Jordan Maxwell videos, and I noticed something, how it's a cycle. Like a lot of times the elders bring up and regurgitate the same information over and over because there's always new people coming in. I met this individual recently, and she, I told her something, and she was like, "Oh yeah," and then she was like, her roommate told her this. So just through the spirit, and it's crazy too. I always tend to meet women that like people was Masons or something. Like it's like nonstop with this shit. But long story short, she was like, her father was, kind of threw me off, and I'm trying to see how much she know, you know what I mean? So then I told her a little something, because she's like, her father told her about how it ain't, they're going to say it's satanic, but it's not. So I went and got the quote from Albert Pike personally, you know what I mean? Where he say pretty much is, we don't tell them who we worship at the lower degrees. We don't, because Albert Pike made that statement in the book, Morals and Dogma. He said, we don't tell the lesser degree adepts what we truly worship it. He said, but they pretty much meant to be used. But once you come to the 30th and above level, you find out that they worshiping Lucifer. That's it in his book. Verse 5, behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And, the sword is what? What's the modern day sword? These guns, these weapons, these rifles, all that. Shotguns, all that. Famine, death, and destruction. Spirit, what's that? Sirach chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits created for vengeance. And then it goes into how the many ways the Lord can use to kill you. That's deep. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their workful slacket. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Skipping to verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. That civil war is going to be just like it was, back at the beginning of this country, when Abraham Lincoln was in office. You're going to have one nation of Edomites fighting against another nation of Edomites. Now, you had the stupid ass, I've seen movies, I don't know how true it is. I've seen comedians make jokes about it, about how, it was like pretty much you could have used the slave. Who was that said that? He was like, pretty much if you used the slaves, you'd have won. And then I've seen movies where, pretty much like the outlaw Josie Wells, like pretty much, how they mentality was towards slaves. But then, yet still, I think in that movie, Josie Wells helped a nigga, if I'm not mistaken. I remember I watched this other movie with the guy that played Peter Parkey. So I said Peter Parkey. The guy that played Peter Parker in the first Spider-Man's, Tobey Maguire, and he was in a movie where they was like the Civil War, and pretty much like they had slaves helping them though. That's probably exaggerated or whatnot. But then again, who's to say? Look at Django. You know what I mean? Look at the real history of this place. You look at what was the nigga name that Samuel L. Jackson played? You got niggas that didn't want to leave. They just, this is my home. Yes, sir, master. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. And a sedition is pretty much anything speaking or upriling the people against the government, which they will consider what we doing when we bring out these epistles and do our camps week in and week out. We'll be considered, pretty much enemies against the state or enemies of the state. Insurrection is what Donald Trump did. Yet still, he pretty much, some kind of way, Congress allowed him to still be able to run for presidency. So, this place is full of shit, It says, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's why you seen that clip from 60 Minutes showing them Edomites looking like because they seeing their constitution is being pretty much bypass it. You know what I mean? They seeing certain laws that's being passed, and they not liking that shit. So the real civil war is gonna be between, Esau against Esau. And the thing is, I forgot what brother brought it up, but he said, if it was, I think he was reading an article. He said if it was to be a civil war, the main target is gonna be you, Jakes. You know what I mean? He said the minorities they're gonna go after pretty much, civil servants, people that work for the government, the law enforcement, the mayors, and these city councilmen and shit like that, and minorities. And that's when you're gonna get your day of Jacob's trouble. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7, and it reads, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." And who is that he? Salaki, who is that he? That he represents the elect. The Lord, it tells you that he's going to protect his elect. The Lord is going to shelter, hide, or, he's going to shelter, hide, or endow them with spiritual power. Scriptures talk about a standard, when the enemy comes in as a flood, a standard we raised up, roughly paraphrased. You're going to know that the Lord is real in that day, because he's going to endow certain men with spiritual power. Tells you in scriptures about one should chase 100, and 100 should chase 1,000. I mean, mighty men for real, with spiritual power. Imagine that. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Chakotas. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom, and Kwam Yasharallah and Mawat Lababal. Shalom.